What if I told you that one of Hollywood's biggest stars just gave away millions of dollars without blinking an eye? It's true, and the reason behind it will leave you speechless. Keanu Reeves, the man known for his on-screen heroics, just proved he's an even bigger hero in real life. But the story behind his incredible donation goes far deeper than anyone could have imagined. The sterile halls of St. Jude's Children's Hospital echoed with the soft beeping of machines and hushed conversations. Keanu Reeves, dressed in a simple black t-shirt and jeans, walked quietly past colorful murals depicting fantastical worlds, a stark contrast to the reality within these walls. His visit was unannounced, a personal pilgrimage of sorts, away from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. As he turned a corner, his eyes met those of a young girl, her head wrapped in a bright scarf adorned with cartoon characters. She sat in a wheelchair, a sketch pad balanced on her lap, her small hands clutching a pencil with determination. The girl's brave smile, a beacon of hope in this place of uncertainty, triggered something deep within Keanu. In that moment, the hospital faded away, replaced by vivid images from Keanu's childhood. He was transported back to a time he rarely spoke about, a chapter of his life that had shaped him in ways few people understood. We see a young Keanu, no more than 14 years old, sitting by a hospital bed. His hand gently holds that of his sister Kim, her face pale but her eyes full of life. The room is filled with get-well cards and wilting flowers, silent witnesses to the long battle they've been fighting. Kim's struggle with leukemia becomes painfully clear. We watch as young Keanu reads to her, brings her favorite snacks, and simply sits with her during the long, quiet hours of treatment. These moments, hidden from the public eye, forged a bond between the siblings that transcended their circumstances. Back in the present, Keanu kneels beside the young girl in St. Jude's. Without a word, he picks up a spare pencil and begins to sketch alongside her. The girl's eyes widen with surprise, then sparkle with delight as Keanu adds playful details to her drawing. In this shared moment of creativity, an unspoken understanding passes between them, a recognition of the strength it takes to smile in the face of adversity. As Keanu leaves the hospital, the weight of the visit settles on his shoulders. The memories of Kim, the courage of the young girl, and the dedication of the medical staff swirl in his mind. A seed of an idea begins to take root, growing stronger with each step he takes away from the building. In the quiet of his car, Keanu pulls out his phone and makes a call to his agent. His voice is low but filled with a newfound determination. "I need you to look into something for me," he says, his eyes fixed on the hospital in his rearview mirror. "It's about my next project's salary." Months after his hospital visit, Keanu found himself on the bustling set of his latest action blockbuster. As the cameras rolled, capturing his choreographed fight scenes, his mind drifted to a battle far more personal than any he'd faced on screen. Between takes, he retreated to his trailer, not for rest, but to pore over the latest cancer research papers scattered across his desk. The journey that led him here was anything but ordinary. From his breakout role in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure to the mind-bending world of The Matrix, Keanu's rise to stardom had been meteoric. But beneath the surface of his success, a secret mission burned within him, a quest to combat the disease that had nearly taken his sister. As he emerged from his trailer, Keanu's eyes met those of a young production assistant. "Mr. Reeves, they're ready for you on set," she said, her voice tinged with admiration. He nodded, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. The weight of his double life pressed down on him, heavier than any action sequence harness. Back on set, the director called, "Action!" Keanu's body moved on autopilot, throwing punches and dodging blows. But his mind was elsewhere, in sterile laboratories where researchers worked tirelessly to find a cure, in hospital rooms where patients fought their own daily battles. Between scenes, Keanu's phone buzzed with a notification. Another anonymous donation had been processed, this time to a promising gene therapy study. He allowed himself a moment of satisfaction before slipping the device back into his pocket. The constant vigilance, the need for secrecy, it all took its toll. As the day wore on, the pressure began to show. During a particularly intense scene, Keanu stumbled over his lines, frustration etching deep lines in his forehead. "Cut!" the director shouted, concern evident in his voice. "Let's take 5, everyone!" Keanu retreated once more to his trailer, closing the door behind him with a soft click. He sank into his chair, surrounded by the evidence of his secret mission: research papers, donation receipts, and a worn photo of his sister Kim. The stark contrast between the glitz of Hollywood and the harsh reality of cancer research had never felt more pronounced. As he sat there staring at the photo, a realization began to dawn. The compartmentalization of his life, action star by day, cancer crusader by night, was becoming unsustainable. Something had to give. He couldn't keep living this double life, not when there was so much at stake. With trembling hands, Keanu reached for his phone. He scrolled through his contacts, pausing on his agent's number. The decision crystallizing in his mind was monumental, potentially career-altering. But as he thought of Kim, of the young girl in the hospital with her sketch pad, of countless others fighting this devastating disease, he knew what he had to do. His finger hovered over the call button. The next few moments would set in motion a chain of events that would shock Hollywood and the world. Keanu took a deep breath, steeling himself for what was to come. It was time to bring his secret mission into the light. The final day of filming dawned, a palpable electricity hanging in the air. Keanu sat in the makeup chair, his mind a whirlwind of thoughts as the artist skillfully applied his character's signature look. The usual bustle of the set seemed distant, muffled by the weight of the decision that had been gnawing at him for months. A soft ping from his phone caught his attention. As he glanced down, a news alert flashed across the screen. Breakthrough in cancer research. New gene therapy shows promise. Keanu's heart skipped a beat. The words on the screen blurred as memories of his sister Kim flooded his mind, her brave smile etched in his heart forever. In that moment, something shifted within him. The quiet determination that had been building for years crystallized into an unshakable resolve. With trembling fingers, he dialed his agent's number, speaking in hushed tones that belied the magnitude of what he was about to do. The set erupted into a flurry of confusion as Keanu requested an immediate meeting with the producers. Whispers rippled through the crew like wildfire. What could be so urgent on the last day of filming? Behind closed doors, Keanu took a deep breath and made an announcement that left everyone in the room stunned into silence. "I've decided to donate my entire salary from this film to cancer research," he said, his voice steady despite the gravity of his words. For a moment, no one spoke. The producers exchanged glances, a mix of disbelief and awe etched on their faces. Word spread through the studio at lightning speed. Crew members gathered in small groups, their voices a mix of shock and admiration. "Did you hear?" they whispered. "Keanu's giving away his whole paycheck. Can you believe it?" As Keanu emerged from the meeting room, the atmosphere on set had transformed. Gone was the usual chatter and laughter. Instead, a reverent hush fell over the crew. Eyes followed him as he walked, filled with a newfound respect that went far beyond his on-screen persona. As word of Keanu's incredible gesture spread beyond the studio walls, Hollywood was set ablaze with a mix of shock, admiration, and introspection. The news traveled faster than any viral marketing campaign, igniting conversations in every corner of Tinseltown. At a popular West Hollywood cafe, a group of A-list actors huddled around a table, their usual talk of box office numbers replaced by hushed discussions of Keanu's donation. "I've known Keanu for years," whispered a leading man, his eyes wide with disbelief. "But I never imagined he'd do something like this. It's humbling." Social media exploded with hashtags praising Keanu's generosity. #KeanuCares and #BeLikeKeanu trended worldwide as fans and fellow celebrities alike shared their awe and support. One tweet from a respected film critic captured the sentiment, "In an industry often criticized for its excesses, Keanu Reeves reminds us of the power of compassion." The impact of Keanu's donation reverberated beyond Hollywood's glitz and glamour. Dr. Sarah Chen, a leading cancer researcher, appeared on a popular morning show, her eyes bright with excitement. "Mr. Reeves' contribution could potentially accelerate our research by years," she explained. "We're looking at groundbreaking treatments that could save countless lives." Inspired by Keanu's example, other celebrities began to step forward. A beloved sitcom star announced she would donate half her season's earnings to children's hospitals. An action movie icon pledged to match Keanu's donation, dollar for dollar. Even studio executives, known for their bottom-line focus, started to reevaluate their philanthropic efforts. As charity galas and fundraisers became the hottest tickets in town, the entertainment industry began to shift. Suddenly, an actor's worth wasn't just measured in box office numbers, but in the lives they touched off-screen. Producers found themselves fielding pitches for projects centered around social causes, while talent agencies scrambled to highlight their clients' charitable work. Through it all, Keanu watched from afar, overwhelmed by the unexpected ripple effect of his actions. As he sat in his modest apartment, surrounded by stacks of thank you letters from cancer patients and their families, he realized his mission had taken on a life of its own. The movement he inadvertently started was changing Hollywood's heart, one generous act at a time. The grand ballroom of the Ritz-Carlton buzzed with anticipation, a sea of designer gowns and tuxedos swirling beneath the soft glow of crystal chandeliers. Tonight was no ordinary fundraiser. It was the event of the season, a gala that promised to change the face of cancer research forever. As the clock struck 8, a hush fell over the crowd. The guest of honor had arrived. Keanu Reeves stepped into the ballroom, his understated presence a stark contrast to the opulence surrounding him. He tugged at his bow tie, clearly uncomfortable with the attention. Whispers rippled through the crowd as he made his way to the front, each step bringing him closer to a moment he never imagined he'd face. As the master of ceremonies introduced him as the man who stunned Hollywood with his incredible act of generosity, Keanu's eyes darted around the room. For a moment, it seemed as though he might bolt. But then, something shifted in his demeanor. He squared his shoulders and approached the podium with quiet determination. The room fell silent as Keanu began to speak, his voice soft but filled with an emotion that held everyone captive. "Thank you all for being here tonight," he started, his words measured and deliberate. "But I'm not the one you should be honoring. There's someone else, someone whose bravery and strength have inspired everything I've done." With a deep breath, Keanu began to share a story he'd kept close to his heart for decades. He spoke of long nights in hospital rooms, of a young girl's laughter in the face of unimaginable pain, of a brother's helplessness as he watched his sister fight for her life. As he recounted his sister Kim's battle with leukemia, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. "Kim never lost her smile," Keanu said, his voice cracking slightly. "Even on her worst days, she'd look at me and say, 'Keanu, we're going to beat this. And when we do, we're going to help other kids do the same.'" He paused, allowing the weight of those words to settle over the audience. "We didn't get the chance to do that together, but I made a promise to her and to myself that I would carry on that mission in her name." For the first time, Keanu revealed the extent of his secret crusade against cancer. He spoke of late-night research sessions, of meetings with scientists and doctors, and of the hope that kept him going even when the odds seemed insurmountable. "Every role I took, every paycheck I earned, it was all for this," he admitted, "to honor Kim's memory and to give other families the chance we never had." As Keanu concluded his speech, the ballroom erupted in a standing ovation. Tears flowed freely as guests rose to their feet, moved by the raw honesty and depth of his commitment. In that moment, they saw not a Hollywood star, but a brother who had transformed his pain into a force for good. 6 months after that unforgettable night at the Ritz-Carlton, the world of cancer research was about to change forever. The bustling corridors of the newly established Reeves-Kim Cancer Research Center hummed with activity, a stark contrast to the somber hospital halls of Keanu's youth. Here, hope wasn't just a fleeting emotion, it was tangible, pulsing through every lab and every experiment. Dr. Emily Zhao, lead researcher at the center, peered intently into a microscope. Her fingers, steady despite the weight of expectation, adjusted the focus. "We're seeing unprecedented results," she explained, her voice tinged with excitement. "The gene therapy trials are showing a 60% reduction in tumor size across multiple cancer types. This kind of progress, it's unheard of." In an adjacent lab, a team of scientists huddled around a computer screen, analyzing data from their latest clinical trials. The atmosphere was electric, fueled by the knowledge that their work could save countless lives. Dr. James Chen, head of clinical research, pointed to a chart on the screen. "Look at these survival rates," he said, his eyes shining. "We're not just extending lives by months anymore. We're talking years." As if on cue, the lab doors swung open, and a familiar figure stepped in. Keanu Reeves, dressed simply in jeans and a dark sweater, moved through the space with quiet reverence. The scientists, momentarily starstruck, quickly resumed their work, understanding the gravity of their mission. Keanu approached a young woman seated in a treatment chair, an IV line running into her arm. "How are you feeling today, Sarah?" he asked, his voice gentle. Sarah, barely in her 20s, smiled weakly. "Better than yesterday," she replied, "and hopefully not as good as tomorrow." Dr. Zhao joined them, clipboard in hand. "Sarah's part of our groundbreaking immunotherapy trial. she explained to Keanu. Her body is learning to fight the cancer on its own, with a little help from us. Keanu nodded, his eyes never leaving Sarah's face. In that moment, he saw his sister Kim, her strength, her determination, her hope. As they moved through the facility, Dr. Chen shared more promising news. We've just received approval for a new round of trials, he said. This one targets rare childhood cancers. Your donation? It's giving these kids a fighting chance they never had before. The tour concluded in a small conference room, where a wall of photos caught Keanu's attention. Each frame held the face of a patient, some smiling, some serious, all alive because of the work being done within these walls. Dr. Zhao stood beside him, her voice soft but filled with determination. Every face you see here is a life changed, a family given more time together, a future restored. Keanu's hand reached out, gently touching one of the frames. The child in the photo couldn't have been more than 7, her bald head adorned with a colorful scarf. Her smile, wide and genuine, spoke volumes. For a moment, Keanu was transported back to that hospital room, to Kim's bedside, to a promise made long ago. As the story of Keanu Reeves' incredible journey comes to a close, we're left with a profound sense of the ripple effect one person's actions can create. From the halls of a children's hospital to the bustling sets of Hollywood blockbusters, Keanu's path has been one of quiet determination and unwavering commitment to a cause bigger than himself. The Reeves Kim Cancer Research Center stands as a testament to the power of turning personal tragedy into hope for others. Dr. Emily Zhao's report of a 60% reduction in tumor size across multiple cancer types is more than just a statistic. It's a lifeline for countless families facing their darkest hours. As we reflect on Keanu's journey, we're challenged to look inward and ask ourselves, how can we use our own resources, no matter how modest, to make a difference in the world? The credits may roll, but the story doesn't end here. It continues with each person inspired by Keanu's example, from the beloved sitcom star donating half her season's earnings to the action movie icon matching Keanu's contribution dollar for dollar. As we leave this tale behind, we carry with us a renewed sense of possibility, a reminder that even in the face of life's greatest challenges, we have the power to create positive change.